Tonight, a doctor who previously worked in Saskatchewan faces dozens of sex crime charges. A Saskatoon restaurant temporarily shuts down after a customer nearly eats a cockroach on her sandwich. And we meet Regina's first black female police officer.
This is CBC Saskatchewan News.
It is Wednesday, February 25th, and the CBC Saskatchewan News starts right now. I'm Ethan Williams. Thank you for joining us. A doctor with licenses to practice in Saskatchewan and Ontario is facing dozens of sex crime charges. And it's not the first time his name has been in the national spotlight. Aaliyah Marco Omene has our top story.
Dr. David Edward Uwe Poon is facing 43 sex crime charges stemming over 12 years. If you recognize his name, it's because Poon made international headlines during the pandemic for his efforts to reunite cross-border families and couples.
You hear about the loneliness and the deterioration of the mental health of people who just want to be together.
The 39-year-old has worked as a medical health officer in northern Saskatchewan and taught for the University of Saskatchewan. However, the charges are related to his time in Ontario. Toronto police initially charged him last November with 1 count each of accessing and possessing child sexual abuse and exploitation material. 2 weeks later, the College of Physicians and Surgeons of Saskatchewan restricted his medical practice to patients 18 or older. Then, in early December, Poon was charged in Ontario with 41 additional crimes related to voyeurism, sexual assault, and child pornography. The charges include 6 counts of drugging someone to facilitate sexual assaults. The charges have yet to be tested in court. Now, Poon's medical licenses in both Ontario and Saskatchewan have been suspended. After the first 2 charges, Poon's lawyers told the Ontario Licensing Authority that the accusations are unrelated to his medical practice and that Poon intends to vigorously oppose them. Poon remains in custody ahead of his next court appearance Friday. Aaliyah Marco Omene, CBC News, Regina.
A new report by the Canadian Centre for Policy Alternatives shows Saskatchewan has the highest child poverty rate in the country and the second highest rate when it comes to poverty across all ages. One man says he's felt the effects of rising costs in his own life, and at an NDP news conference Wednesday, he said he's concerned about the effect it's having on kids.
The Sask party, they say strong economy and bright future, you know. But how can we have that if we're the second highest in the country, you know, for child poverty?
In a statement, the province says its latest budget includes several initiatives to support low-income residents and manage everyday costs. Saskatoon City Council has voted to go ahead with plans for a new warming centre, but it's set to be located near a planned daycare. City Council voted Wednesday to purchase a building along Idlewild Drive for the centre, but concerns were raised about plans by the YWCA to open a daycare with 90 spaces nearby. The warming centre would replace one on Avenue C in the Riversdale neighbourhood. Downtown businesses say they are already struggling due to concerns about safety. People gathered in downtown Regina Tuesday evening for the 10th annual Regina Homeless Memorial. They were there to honor the people who have recently died due to homelessness. The chair of the Homeless Memorial Committee says the annual event is important for raising awareness of the homelessness crisis in Regina and calls the event a call to action.
It's just important to continue to raise visibility because, you know, we've got lots of people out there doing the hard work, but it just doesn't seem to be enough, and the issue continues to kind of grow. So, and then I guess it's just kind of top of mind when it's cold outside, which is why we tend to hold this in February, just to, you know, this is the time of year they struggle the most.
Memorial organizers say they received 133 names of homeless people who have died to honor at the ceremony, but they say that number does not reflect the full scope of deaths. Alberta is preparing to roll out class complexity teams in its K through 6 schools. It's something, of course, that Saskatchewan knows well. School divisions here say the added support is helping, but they caution the approach isn't a perfect fit for every classroom. Nicole Healy reports.
It is only one step that is needed to improve the conditions within our classrooms.
In Saskatchewan, the Teachers Federation says complexity teachers and classrooms are needed, but not every classroom feels the impact.
We have schools of upwards of 1,800 students or 1,500 to 1,800 students. So one teacher in a school that size isn't going to have the same impact as a teacher in a school of, say, 150.
Following job action like Alberta, the government was mandated to give schools a dedicated teacher along with $20 million in funding, meaning over 500 teacher positions needed to be filled, something that's still in progress.
Teachers are the ones that are in the schools. They understand where the needs are, and they can help provide direction on how to best allocate those funds based on the needs across a school division.
In a separate mandate, the Saskatchewan government also committed to provide 200 specialized support classrooms over 4 years, each with 2 teachers and an occupational therapist. For Regina Public Schools, it's a step forward.
I'd like to see the complexity approach continue because I think we're on to something. I think we're on to the fact that the kids that come to our schools, particularly in our neediest neighborhoods, are very transitional.
In Alberta, the Premier acknowledged that the province's new model is based on Saskatchewan's.
And we've taken what we've learned and look forward to implementing those learnings here in Alberta.
Alberta's model appears to be a mix of Saskatchewan's programs. Teams of 1 teacher and 2 educational assistants will be brought into schools to help current classrooms. However, unlike Saskatchewan, the government chooses which schools get a team.
A lot of those teachers for classroom complexity positions came from teachers who are already on contract for the most part. So then we're backfilling vacancies from the substitute teacher pool in many of those cases.
The Alberta government has promised complexity teams in 476 K-6 schools. In a statement, it says this first phase reflects the available funding right now, and further supports, including in junior high and high school, will be rolled out soon. Nicole Healy, CBC News, Edmonton.
Canada's Minister of AI says he's disappointed after meeting with officials from OpenAI. It was arranged after it was revealed the company had banned the Tumbler Ridge mass shooter's ChatGPT account months before the murders, but had not informed police about its contents.
We are looking for proposals that have to do with the escalation thresholds as to when they would escalate, at what point does both their human and their technical protocols kick in to they report to the police? How do they do that with law enforcement? They're sifting through billions and billions of pieces of data, and we want to see what their thresholds are.
Solomon did not rule out the possibility of the government introducing its own regulations. A Saskatoon woman's photo of a cockroach on a sandwich she bought at an 8th Street restaurant has gone viral. Now the restaurant says it's temporarily closed to take care of the pest issue. Jeremy Warren has that story.
Deep cleaning is underway at Pink Cadillacs in Saskatoon, trying to prevent this from happening again. The photo shows a cockroach on a grilled cheese sandwich. Tori Redman took the photo last Saturday while eating at Pink Cadillacs.
It was, I think, definitely cooked into it. It was fried in there, and if you look closely, you can see like the butter mark is kind of surrounding it, so it was clearly grilled into it. I have no idea how that happened. It wasn't alive for sure.
Redman says she ate half of her sandwich before noticing something wasn't right.
The thought of there being cockroaches in me, ugh.
Redman posted the photo on social media later that day. Then the restaurant posted an apology and temporarily closed to scrub the place down. A provincial health inspector visited on Monday and found several violations, including that the restaurant was, quote, not free of pests. Pink Cadillac's owner didn't want to appear on camera, but did show CBC around the restaurant. He says this is the first cockroach found at this location. He's worried about the future of his restaurant and its 61 staff.
I've been cooking for 30 years, and I have no idea how it could be possibly happen. So I said, okay, let's shut down. I need to shut down, figure out what's going on.
The Saskatchewan Health Authority says the restaurant can reopen after it passes a follow-up inspection. One pest control company says cockroaches are more common than you might think. The company has been called to between 50 and 60 restaurants in Saskatoon for cockroaches in the past 2 years. As for Redman, she's grossed out by what happened, but is otherwise fine. She did not have to pay for her grilled cheese sandwich. She also says she appreciates the restaurant's quick action and would even consider one day going back to eat there. Jeremy Warren, CBC News, Saskatoon.
Well, we're still a ways from the leaves coming back on the trees, but for some of us, the sun was out for a period of time Wednesday. And weather specialist Mickey Wolf says there's more sunny and warm weather on the way. She brings us her full forecast after the break. Welcome back. Constable Desiree Ates is one of the newest graduates of Police Academy, serving on the streets of Regina with the city's police force. And she's also breaking barriers. She discovered she is the first Black female police officer in Regina Police Service history. She says her father being Black and her mother being Indigenous helped shape her and her approach to policing.
I think it's always been something that I've wanted to do in the back of my mind. Having my dad be in the military, and one of his goals was to always be a police officer, but he just never made the jump. And so I kind of got the fire burning underneath. The old chief wanted me to apply, and so I was kind of like, I don't think I've actually ever seen a Black female officer. Like, I've seen Black male officers, but I just never seen one. A Black female officer, and so I was like, maybe I just have never met them. They could exist, but maybe I just have never met them. And then when I started to dig a little bit more, I was like, oh my goodness, there actually isn't one. I better get on this application quicker rather than later. But no, it was just something that I didn't know about, but it was super exciting once I did find out about it. It was kind of like, oh, well, this is great. Like, representation is huge and it matters a lot. I hope that some young female out there can look at me and see herself in the uniform as well. You know, I think a lot of our youth carry a lot of doubt and they don't think that they can do some things because it might be too hard or it might take too much time or they don't have the right environment that they grew up in. But it's like, if you want to do it, put your mind to it, do it. Believe in yourself, because no one else is going to believe in you if you don't. So it's got to start with you. And like I said, if somebody can see me in the uniform and go, I want to be like her, perfect. Then I'm just opening the path for others to walk down. I come from this community, I grew up in this community, and this community has given me so much in terms of opportunity and being seen, that I wanted to be able to protect the community that now my nieces and nephews and everyone is going to grow up in.
Weather specialist Mickey Wolf joining us now. Mickey, first it got really cold, then it warmed up, then it got cold again. Now we're back into the warmth, a real seesaw temperature-wise here.
Ethan, the weather, it feels like it's playing mind games with us a little bit sometimes in Saskatchewan, because yes, we do have some warmer temperatures happening tomorrow, and we're starting to see that warm up today a little bit. Let's take a look at some of our daytime highs across south and central Saskatchewan. We saw a high of +8 in Maple Creek, always the leader in terms of warm daytime highs. And in the central region, we're starting to see that warm up too. We've got some above zero temperatures for Saskatoon and the Battlefords, and we do expect a warmer day tomorrow. We are seeing a little bit of cloud cover across the province tonight, but that warm weather isn't going to last too long, at least not quite past Thursday evening. So tomorrow we will see potentially some snowfall for the north, and then as well in the central region that may fall as rain, specifically for the Battlefords. We might see chances of snow or rain there with above zero temperatures. Then we've got a high pressure system moving into the province Friday night into Saturday morning. So what does that mean for us here? Well, we're going to see some snowfall across the central region. We're potentially seeing 2 centimeters centimeters tomorrow for Saskatoon, but again, with those above zero temperatures, that could also fall as rain. And then as we head into the weekend, we're seeing some moderate snowfall for the southwest. So it's going to be a bit of an up and down, a little bit of a spring back to winter, and we are seeing a little bit more snowfall for the north as well. Specifically, La Loche and Pelican Narrows are forecasted to get just a bit over 10 centimeters as we head into the weekend. Now, wind-wise, we are seeing some gusting across southern Saskatchewan tonight, and we are seeing that tomorrow evening as well, some stronger gusts for that southwest corner. And as we head into Friday, we still will see a little bit of a breeze here and there throughout southern Saskatchewan. Now, here's our warm-up I've been alluding to all week. That's tomorrow. You can bookmark it for your calendars tomorrow morning. We got a really nice warm day, especially, again, for the southwest. Things are looking very warm there. But then, as you can see, folks, heading back into Saturday evening, things are starting to cool down again below zero and beyond. So Regina is seeing that warm day of +5 tomorrow. Not too shabby. We've got a bit of a breeze, but that won't feel so bad with those warmer temperatures. Then Friday, we've got definitely a windy day for Regina. We're seeing those winds gusting up to 60 kilometers an hour. And then Saturday's looking cooler. As we get into the work week, things will start to warm up again. And for Saskatoon, we may see again some rain tomorrow with those above zero temperatures and some stronger gusting Friday before we head into a chillier weekend. So Ethan, I'm just waiting for the weather to pick a side. You know, we've got warm, then we've got cold. You know, we're getting a lot of mixed signals here.
Yeah, and I don't trust Mother Nature. She seems to be saving all the moisture for the end of winter.
It's true, Ethan. I have a lot to think about now.
Yeah, exactly. We'll keep an eye on Mother Nature. Okay, thanks, Mickey.
Thank you.
Well, a small Saskatchewan community has accomplished a big goal. The village of Dodsland, north of Kindersley, raised $11 million for a new rink. It was an impressive feat and one that boosted the community's spirits after the previous rink was destroyed in a fire last year.
Yeah, it was a huge heartbreak. This is one of the most important buildings in our area for sure. It's a place for people to gather, but also just every kid plays hockey too, right? So then once you start after driving to other communities, it just gets harder on the families. And we want this rink back as soon as possible so we don't have kids dropping out of hockey, so they stay with it in the sport that they love. That, and after senior games and other games, we would have a little bit of a wing night and serve some beverages, just because we don't have a local tavern in this area. So it's just a big community hub is what it was, the big focus of it. It happened July 18th, and then we had to gather quotes, get numbers, kind of see what our budget is for a new arena, which is just unbelievable what things cost nowadays. But so once we got that figured out, we started about the middle of December. So we've only been into it probably 2 months. It's been very impressive. We're still at that 11 million mark. 3 million of that was insurance, so we basically raised 8 million. So for being the surrounding communities is roughly 400 people. So we've raised $20,000 per person. It's pretty incredible. There's been our RM stepped up in a big way. They did 2 million. There's been some other surrounding RMs. A big one was Grant McGrath did $1 million. Garth McDonald did 500,000. Western Sales did 500,000. Reach Electric out of this area did 500,000, and then just there's been a lot of local farms just pitch in to get the rest of the way there, which has just been unbelievable to see. It's been awesome. Shows you how important an arena is to a smaller community, and other smaller communities they feel that too, so they want to pitch in and help out, and it just shows how, like I said, how important it is to us to be able to everyone buy in and just make this thing happen in such a short period of time. This fall we should be shovels in the ground, and then hoping for it's looking like a November 2027 puck drop. Pretty short turnaround time, I would say. We're just speechless on the committee side of things, and just stuff from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you so much.
That is the flame for the Milano Cortina 2026 Paralympic Winter Games. Paralympians lit the cauldron on Tuesday in England at the stadium where the Paralympic movement was born. Torchbearers will carry the flame across Europe to Verona for the opening ceremony on March 6th. Stay with us. We're back after the break. The University of Regina is getting nearly $500,000 from Innovation Saskatchewan. One of the largest grants, more than $200,000, is going to fund research that examines bacteria and help combat antibiotic resistance.
We're relying on antibiotics that has been discovered decades ago, with very few being newly introduced. So our efforts right now is to first better understand what is the problem of resistance and why there are therapeutic failures, why there is a rise in resistance, but at the same time exploit that understanding in designing and discovering new solutions, new antimicrobials that act in a different way. We don't want to, and we need out-of-the-box solutions. We cannot rely on the same solutions over and over. We want new solutions, new approaches.
Other research getting money include technology and equipment to expand water quality monitoring in lakes in southern Saskatchewan, and new computing resources to help track how plastic waste is mapped and analyzed under prairie conditions. The money is coming from Innovation Saskatchewan's Innovation and Science Fund. And weather scientist Mickey Wolf is back now with the science behind why it's going to be warming up so much.
Well, Ethan, you know, again, it's hard to say. It's a little bit of spring, it's a little bit of winter. We've got a little charcuterie board of the seasons right now in the province. Let's take a look at our overnight temperatures in Saskatchewan, because we've got some above zero temperatures, and a big surprise to many of our viewers, it's Maple Creek with a low of +1 tonight. We're seeing things a little bit chillier for the central region, especially east central. And then for the far north, Stony Rapids, will see overnight wind chill closer to -36. So things are still feeling firmly in winter for the far north. We are expecting some light snowfall across the north tomorrow, looking at potentially 2 to 4 centimeters as we get into the daytime hours. We are seeing some potential snowfall across the central region as well, but the south is looking nice and sunny and balmy tomorrow, and we are seeing a little bit of snow there in east central. So Ethan, I'm hoping for an earlier spring. You know, if I can put my scientist hat on, I'm just gonna say that's the feeling I'm getting right now.
I feel that too. We deserve an early spring. Thank you, Mickey.
Thank you.
And that is our news for this Wednesday. For more news anytime, you can head to cbc.ca/Sask, or subscribe to the CBC Saskatchewan YouTube channel, or download the CBC News app on your smartphone or tablet. Thank you so much for watching.